What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Friday, February 4th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 9-game slate tonight. So let's take a look at the point guard position. So you got some studs playing tonight. You got Luka Doncic and James Harden. But if you want to save some salary at the point guard position, take a look at Marcus Smart from the Boston Celtics playing the Detroit Pistons, who have the 5th worst defense overall, and they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Marcus Smart has averaged 28.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 17% usage rate. He's projected at 27.3 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he can score 30 fantasy points or more in this one and get you 5 times value or more. He's $5,700 DraftKings salary, 100 less on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 213.5 points scored in this game, and Marcus Smart has scored 40, 35, and 27 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 33, 28, and 29 minutes. I also like this pick because Marcus Smart has scored 39 and 36 fantasy points in his last 2 games versus the Pistons. So I like Marcus Smart here versus the Detroit Pistons. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Terry Rozier from the Charlotte Hornets playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have a good defense overall. They've been good versus opposing shooting guards, but Terry Rozier has averaged 33.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. He's projected at 34.5 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he can score 37 fantasy points or more and get you 5 times value or more. He's $7,200 DraftKings salary and $600 less on FanDuel. So I love that FanDuel price. Oh, Josh Giddey has a great FanDuel price as well. He's only $6K on FanDuel. He's priced up $1,700 more on DraftKings. So just a quick shout out to Josh Giddey on FanDuel at only $6,000 salary. Looks like a steal over there. But back to Terry Rozier. He has scored 41, 21, and 33 fantasy points in the last 3 games, and playing 40, 39, and 36 minutes. So he's playing monster minutes, and he scored 40, 12, 37, 53, and 58 fantasy points in his last 5 games versus the Cavaliers. He's got 50 plus fantasy point upside when he gets going, and Vegas thinks there's going to be 218.5 points scored in this game. So I like Terry Rozier here versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. I like Norman Powell from the Portland Trail Blazers playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have the 3rd worst defense overall. They give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Norman Powell has averaged 29 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. He's projected at 31 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he can score 35 fantasy points or more, get you 5 times value or more. He's 6,700 DraftKings salary, 300 more on FanDuel. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 214 points scored in this game. And Norman Powell has scored 43, 29, and 30 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 40, 37, and 34 minutes. So his minutes have come up the past couple of games. He's got that 40-plus fantasy point upside. It's a good matchup for him here tonight. So I like Norman Powell, who scored 29, 29, and 27 fantasy points in his last 3 games versus the Thunder. But I do think he can score 35 fantasy points or more here tonight. So I like Norman Powell here versus the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. So here's a value play or a mid-range play, a guy that I think's got some pretty good upside in a high-scoring game here tonight. I like Jae'Sean Tate from the Houston Rockets, playing the San Antonio Spurs, who have the 7th worst defense overall. They're middle of the pack defending opposing power forwards. Jae'Sean Tate has averaged 26.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 27 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 25.9 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5.1 times value. He's 5,100 DraftKings salary, 200 more on FanDuel, and Vegas thinks there's going to be 234.5 points scored in this game. So I think this is a good game to stack here tonight, and this gives you some low salary exposure to this game. Jae'Sean Tate has scored 21, 19, and 27 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 28, 30, and 26 minutes. And I like this pick because he scored 31 and 38 fantasy points in his last 2 games versus the Spurs. So I like Jae'Sean Tate here versus the San Antonio Spurs. Now, another value play that I like on this slate is Darius Bazley from the Oklahoma City Thunder, playing the Portland Trailblazers, who have the 9th worst defense overall. They're middle of the pack defending opposing power forwards. Darius Bazley has averaged 22.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 26 minutes per game with an 18% usage rate. He's projected at 22.9 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's only 4,400 DraftKings salary, 300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 214 points scored in this game. And Darius Bazley has scored 36, 27, and 26 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 35, 26, and 31 minutes. And he also has a good track record here versus the Portland Trailblazers, scoring 27, 35, 32, and 29 fantasy points in his last 4 games versus the Trailblazers. So I think this is a great value play on DraftKings and a good play on FanDuel. So I like Darius Bazley here versus the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, moving on to the center position. I like Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers, playing the Charlotte Hornets, who have the 2nd worst defense overall. They give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing centers. Also eligible at the power forward position. Kevin Love has averaged 28.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 22 minutes per game with a 27% usage rate. He's projected at 31.9 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he could score 35 fantasy points or more in this one and get you 5 times value or more. He's $6,900 DraftKings salary, the same price on FanDuel. And Kevin Love has scored 45, 40, and 20 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 29, 33, and 18 minutes. So what sticks out to me is his minutes have come way up over the past 2 games. So has his production, and he had a 35% usage rate last game. So I'm wondering if he's going to get 30 plus minutes in this game. It's a fantastic matchup here. So he could score 40 plus fantasy points in this one if he does get those minutes. So I like Kevin Love here versus the Charlotte Hornets.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.